Hi everyone. Today our objective or goal is to combine the use of vivid verbs and sensory details to write stanza 3, which builds upon stanzas 1 and 2. Remember, when we're writing our poems, we have to think about how these stanzas build upon each other. So our final stanza must build upon what has happened in the first two stanzas. So remember, when I revisit my plan, the first stanza, the nest was being built. Second stanza was how they protected the eggs. And when I say they, I'm referring to my character, the birds, who this poem is about. So protecting the eggs. So in stanza 3, the only thing that would make sense now is for the eggs to hatch. So I'm going to combine the use of vivid verbs and sensory details to write my final stanza about how the eggs hatch and what that looks like. So again, same thing that we did the day before. Because this is a poem, I am going to skip a line just to show how the stanzas are separate from each other, but they all build upon each other with the message that they're sending to the reader. And I kind of like this pattern that I've started with, starting each stanza off with purposeful dialogue. So for my third and final stanza, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm using those quotation marks for purposeful dialogue. So my birds, they've put the time in to build a nest. They've protected the eggs, so they've been waiting. And that's exactly what I'm going to say, but I'm speaking from the birds. We have waited day after day after day, so patiently, because this is a process that takes time. And it's we, because we meaning the birds. And I've already used words like sing, chirp, and tweet. So I want to think about a different word that the birds could use so that the reader can actually hear the way that they're talking. We chatter. Because that's what it sounds like sometimes when the birds are outside singing and talking to each other. Until finally, and I want to put that word in all capital letters because they have waited day after day so patiently, we chatter, until finally the first egg. And what is that egg going to do? It begins to shake and shudder. Begins to shake and shudder, which is like another word. You can kind of see the shaking, you could see the shuddering of this egg, meaning it's ready for the baby eggs to hatch. So that's the first verse in my third stanza, but now I need one more verse to complete this. I need the baby eggs to actually get out of the egg. So I'm going to say one by one, the babies break free. The babies break free. There's that vivid verb of breaking. They don't just come out of that egg. They break free from that egg. And my final piece of my poem in this third stanza, I want to end it with one last bit of purposeful dialogue. And my purposeful dialogue to end this entire poem is that the mothers are going to say, "Welcome to the world," exclamation point, because the mothers are happy that they've protected their eggs and now the babies are here. Their mamas, and I'm going to say whistle, because you could hear that excited whistle that the mama birds would put out. So when I go back and I reread and I think about sensory details that the reader can see happening or hear happening, they can feel that idea of patience. You can hear the birds chatter. You might be able to see the eggs shake and shudder. They break free, which could be that vivid verb. And then you could hear the mama's whistle. So your job today is to use a combination of vivid verbs and sensory details to Finalize your poem by writing the third stanza. Remember, each stanza should build upon each other. Happy writing, poets!